Welcome to the My Creative Days podcast, where we will talk about all things DIY, home decor, decorating tips, and creating a beautiful home on a budget. I am hoping our time together will spark a creative idea, help you plan your next DIY, or inspire you to finally tackle that project you keep putting off. Grab your favorite cup of motivation and let's chat. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm going to talk about something, since we are full in investment property and I'm getting some questions in since I've been sharing a lot about it. So today we're going to talk about another topic that has come up, which is, I think, so smart because it's something that let me kind of back up. So we have flipped a few homes now, a handful of homes where we have sold them. We did flip a duplex and we rented it out. This one that we have now, we are planning on renting it out. So when we were looking at this, the lady that we bought it from is somebody that we have worked with before. And when we were going through it and I was negotiating with her, there were a couple comments she made that I was like, yes, duh. Like that totally makes sense. And one of them, as we were walking through, she had worked with somebody who just didn't care what the house looked like, would buy properties, didn't fix them up at all, and would try to get anybody in there to rent. And then she has a friend who likes to spend a little bit more money and, fix them up nicely, but not like blow a budget or anything, and get, some really good renters in there. And I thought this would be a good topic because someone had asked me a question that kind of aligns with this, and about, well, if you're renting, what do you fix up and what don't you fix up, and those kinds of things. And to be honest, I don't know if I've said it here on the podcast. I've said it on Instagram if you're following the journey over there. I've said it on YouTube, sharing longer videos over there as well. But I have really, especially with this project, I have really struggled with that fine line of, okay, we're renting it, we're not, flipping it to sell it. So there are some things that I've wanted to do, and Matt's had to reel me in and say, but we're not selling it, we're flipping it. And even if you're flipping it, you can do it on a budget. We've done it many times, but there's just some things that I'm like, okay, I have to keep telling myself, we are renting it. But here is my thing. This is so weird, but every project that we've ever done like this, flip house, the duplex, renting, whatever, I always, as we get in there and start working, I always think of the person that's going to be living there, either renting or living there or buying it. I can picture it. I know the person that's going to want this house. And so when we're working on it, and sometimes it's, it's just a fake person, right? Like I know it's going to be, a mom or a family of four, whatever it is. But sometimes it's people that I know. Like I can picture somebody and say, okay, somebody like so-and-so would definitely move in here. And so when I'm fixing up the property, I want to fix it up as if that person, or even that fake family, a young family, got little kids, a mom and dad, blah, blah, blah. That's what I have in mind, and I want to fix it up for that particular person. And it's every single time we've had a house, I know exactly who I'm fixing it up for. It's no different with this property. And so today I want to kind of talk about fixing up an investment property on a budget, but to attract the renters you want. So number one, I kind of talked about this. When it comes to investment properties, one of the biggest mistakes some landlords do is just leaving the property as it is, hoping that they'll save some money. A lot of times you will be attracting renters who will not care for the space as much as you'd like, right? On the other hand, if you put in the effort to fix up the property without breaking the bank, it's going to make the world a difference in attracting responsible long-term renters who will treat your property with care, right? And that is the goal. You don't want a ton of turnover. You want somebody there that's going to stay for the long haul, really. So why fixing up the property matters? So it's going to increase the appeal of the property to multiple people. It's going to justify a higher rental rate. You're going to attract the renters who are willing to care for the home, and you're going to reduce the turnover and maintenance costs in the long run. one thing in this project now is we needed to paint everything. It's been vacant for a while, and the person that lived there before, he didn't clean ever, right? So when we were going to paint the walls, which it needed it desperately, we had to clean the walls. Just the cleaning process took days. And, maybe another landlord or another owner would go in and be like, just throw on some paint, slap it on there. But the thing is, you've got to think as an investor, who has to paint that when your renter moves out, right? It's going to be you, or you're going to pay somebody to do it, right? So we went in knowing that, again, we're going to rent this out. We're not selling it. So we wanted to make sure that the maintenance over the years and the things that we were doing was going to be minimal. So if we would have just slapped on paint over those dirty, disgusting walls, the paint wouldn't stick right. We would be wasting a lot more money on paint because we'd have to put on 36 coats, and it's not going to last as long. So we'd be repainting everything all over again once we got a renter in there and they moved out. So we really took the time to make sure that we were prepping everything we were doing so that it holds up in the long run. So here are some budget-friendly updates that will help your property stand out without breaking the bank. Paint is going to be your best friend. And choose your colors wisely. Also, we used semi-gloss. In our home, I like to use satin paint, but in this house, we use semi-gloss. It's so much easier to clean. So we use semi-gloss on all the walls, but a fresh coat of paint is going to make the world of difference. When we first walked through this house, it was so dark and dingy. And the color on the wall, it was a darker, I want to say khaki color, like a darker, not brown, but yet not tan. Does that make sense? But it was just so dark for the space. So we lightened up all the rooms. The spaces look bigger. It just looks airier. It just looks happier. Paint is your best friend for even in your own home. I always say it's my favorite DIY product because it's going to give you the biggest bang for the least amount of money. Number 2, update lighting fixtures, and this doesn't mean you have to buy new. So obviously, if there's a ton of outdated or broken light fixtures, you can you want to update those and go to your local restore. You will find so many for like $5. In this particular house, especially on the first floor, all the lights were in pristine condition, except they were dirty. They were so disgusting. We actually thought 2 of them we were going to have to replace because we just thought they were like old and just not good. We took them down and washed them. They look brand new. It's not any lighting that I would pick out if I was flipping the project, but since we are renting it, they totally work fine and they look nice. They don't look, out of place or anything. It's just not my first choice if we were going to go flip this project. So definitely updating the lighting or just cleaning the lighting fixtures will make the biggest difference. Refresh the kitchen. So a kitchen, if you're selling or renting, right? The kitchen is the hub of the home. Kitchens sell homes and they attract renters, right? Is the kitchen going to work for the family or for their lifestyle? So, you can paint cabinets to give them a fresh look. Sometimes painted cabinets don't uphold, well. So you got to make sure that you're using the right products if you're painting cabinets. In this kitchen, when we first went through it, we said we need all new cabinets. We knew we were going to get countertops because they were chipped, but we're like, the cabinets got to go too. We thought that was going to be a huge chunk of our budget. When we got in there, we started opening more of the cabinets and the drawers. They look brand new inside. This guy just never cleaned anything. And then, like I said, it was vacant for a while. So we just had to really clean the cabinets really well. Again, this took days. And then I put like a finish, kind of like a stain poly finish that can go over, already like the cabinets that were already done after I cleaned them. And it just made them look so much better. So another thing you can do, which we are going to do, is replace old hardware with something a little bit more updated. It's budget friendly. Again, look at your local restore. They usually have a lot of knobs and hardware and pulls. Just adding different knobs to the cabinets you already have will make a big difference. Install a new backsplash. You can use peel and stick tiles for a quick, affordable upgrade as long as they last, right? Sometimes peel and stick makes me a little nervous. We are not adding any backsplash to this kitchen at all. It doesn't need it in this project that we're doing. Flooring. So this is another big one. When we went through this house, all of the flooring except for the kitchen and like the bathroom upstairs and a little bit of the hallway was torn, like they had taken it all out, which was nice. We didn't have to do it then. We didn't have to pay for the dump fee to get all of that flooring out, and we didn't have to do the work to get it out. So especially in a rental, carpet can be, if it's stained and nasty, you need to replace it. So, we have decided that we are not going to put in upstairs. We're going to put in, like the plank flooring because it's going to be easier to fix and easier to clean. That's what I meant, not fix. Easier to clean. Carpet, you just smells and things and just stains. It's just harder to get out. So we are going to go with plank flooring. It's really durable for rental properties. So that's what we're going with. We will probably put carpet down the stairs and then into the basement, like family room. So, and keep in mind, you want to probably go, if you are going to rent it, with a darker color, and stain resistant options. It's just paying for that up front is going to really save you in the back end. So keep that in mind. So the bathroom. Number one, just try to clean the bathroom. See what happens after you clean the bathroom. Does it make the world of difference? You can replace old faucets and shower heads. What we are doing right now, I don't know what this person did around the tub and the tub surround, but they use like 3 different caulks, almost like a filler. So I have been scraping all of that off so that we can go in and add a fresh bead of caulk around the tub and the surround, and it's just going to look so nice. I don't know what they did. It's so bad. So we are just I'm taking it all off so then we can just put a fresh caulk and all of that around there. It's going to look fabulous. It already looks so better. So when you're working on these projects and you think, oh, it's going to cost so much to fix it up, I really want good renters in here. It's amazing what a little bit of cleaning and a little bit of elbow grease can do. And sometimes you're just having to fix what somebody else did. So don't always think I've got to take it out and replace it. Like, that is not always the answer. Slow down. If you have to leave the room or like just think about it for a day, do that. It's going to save you so much time and money in the end, because for a while I just didn't look at the tub. I'm just like, what is that? And why is it like they used not brown, but it was like they used some kind of, not even caulk, I don't know, but it's like they got dirt in it too. So it just looked horrible against this white surround. I'm like, I don't know what it is. I'm just gonna, I had other things to work on. And then I finally went in there and I was trimming the bathroom with paint. And I'm like, let me just. And so I started scraping and I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And it's going to look so much better. Installing a new mirror and a vanity, that can give you a fresh feel. But again, the vanity may be in great condition. You may not have to do that. Just clean it. For our bathroom upstairs and the bathroom downstairs, we're going to do new flooring. We're trying to find new mirrors to put in the medicine cabinets that's there, a new light above the mirror, and then flooring inside, and then paint. I mean, that's pretty much all it's going to need. So pretty minimal, but just slow down when you're thinking you're going to have to tear everything out or it's going to be, $5,000 in the bathroom. Just slow down. Another thing that I don't think some people think about on their rentals or investment properties, if it's a short-term rental, long-term rental, first impressions matter. Think about if you've ever rented like an Airbnb, or even if you bought your house, driving up to it, and parking. We have done this with many Airbnbs, and it's like, oh no, I knew right away, like, this is not going to work. First impressions matter. So for us, when we bought this one, It had all new siding, a new roof, all new windows, new air conditioning, new furnace. It had a lot of those big things done. It had a new screen door on the side of the house. But when you pulled up, you could see that the screen door on the front door was like, it's like, what is that? Well, it had some damage on the bottom. And I thought, we could keep this. But I want to say it's $140 for a screen door. We replaced it and it looks so much better and it functions so much better. First impressions matter. And this is even, my dad used to be in real estate. He has flipped homes. That's how we learned a lot that we know. One thing that he taught me throughout the years was that, these little things. So it's $140 screen door, like even something smaller than that. When people that are coming in to rent or buy see that you didn't even pay attention to that, whatever, $10 fix, $140 fix, those small things, they're gonna start questioning what the bigger things are that you didn't work on or fix too, right? So it's gonna just start initially right away putting that thought into their mind, and you don't want that at all. Make sure that the lawn is mowed or the driveway is plowed. You could add some potted plants if you're renting it. I mean, take them with you maybe because they're not going to be in charge of potted plants. But it's just paint the front door a nice color if it needs a fresh coat of paint. Just look at the property's curb appeal and make sure it looks great, for somebody coming to it for the first time. Another thing you can do, especially if you're renting, energy efficient upgrades. So replacing old appliances, which we have to do in this one. That will save on the renter's utility bills if you're having them pay the utility bills. LED light bulbs, programmable thermostats, things like that can just show that, hey, they thought about, this is going to save on some of my bills. They thought about that. I appreciate that. It's just another little bonus. It's not going to be yes, I want this house because of that, but it's going to be those little things that are going to add up that will make them want to rent from you. And then again, I kind of talked about this. Don't forget small repairs. Fix squeaky doors. WD-40 is your friend. Chipped cabinets. Actually, I'm writing a blog post about this right now because, like I said, the cabinets in this house were fine, but a little on the upper cabinets, a little bit of the edges on the underneath of them were fraying. And not like fraying drastically or anything, but they were just fraying a little bit. And so we found the most inexpensive way to fix that, but it finished the look and they look amazing now. So again, just those little things. So that's a good example of, they didn't fix the $140 screen door or actually, I have to say it was a free fix for us for the cabinets on those little edges. It was free for us, but if we had to buy what we used, it would have been under $20. So like just those little details are huge. They just make a big difference. Leaky faucets, obviously, and just any other minor issues that you have. It just shows that you care about the property. It's going to set a positive tone with your renters. And if those small things come up when they're in your property, you want them to let you know immediately because you are the type of owner that wants to get these small repairs done right away before they lead to a much bigger issue, right? You're not just improving the appearance of your property, but you're setting expectations for your renters, right? So for us, it's when they walk into a clean, updated, and well-maintained property, they're more likely to treat it with respect, right? And it establishes a higher standard of communication and care between you and your tenants. When you walk into a place and it's like, oh, they don't even care about the floor, the countertops are all chipped, the doors are hanging off the hinges, like they don't even care. So I can get this for a lot cheaper. I don't have to take care of this place. You know what I mean? Like it's just a whole different vibe. And again, these are not things where you're having to spend a ton of money, but your goal is to get that renter in there who wants to stay there long term and who's going to take care of the property, right? You need to focus on making updates that are cost effective, but also durable, right? So one thing that we're doing in this property, and we set a budget for every property we've done, is we are having somebody come in and drywalling the basement. There are 4 outside walls that we want drywalled, and then the electricity and stuff needs to be, obviously through the wall, so there are plugs. And we knew that that was going to be a huge chunk of the budget, but we also knew how great that was going to be for the property. And we weren't going to do that ourselves, right? We knew that we couldn't drywall and do all the finishing work. So we wanted a professional in there to do it right. We budgeted for it. So just keep that in mind as well. Cheaper materials might save you money up front, but they may not hold up to wear and tear, right? You are renting this out to people other than you, and the way you live is not the same as what other people live. So there are some materials that you can definitely get cheaper, but just keep that in mind when you're buying materials and things to put into the house, because you don't want more expenses down the road just because you went super cheap on whatever it is up front, right? Strike a balance between choosing affordable options and that look good and that will last. Does that make sense? So the payoff for all of this is that it's quality renters, and that's really what you're looking for. A well-maintained property can command a higher rental rate. Renters who love their space and love the landlord, and you've got a great thing going, they're more likely to stay longer. They will care about your property. They know that you care about it, and they are going to do the same while they are there. So a little bit of effort goes a long way. And I say a little bit of effort, like this is going to take us 3 months to get this house done. I love the process. Matt loves the process. I love taking a home that has not been loved and taken care of, and just simple fixes and simple upgrades. It just looks like, I'm so proud of this little house that we have. It looks so good, and I'm super excited to get somebody in there that's going to love it. And it'll be a good place for them to be at that time, right? So I thought this would be helpful. This question kind of came up, and I just thought this would be a great topic to bring up during or on the podcast. So if there are any other questions you have about investment properties, rentals, DIYing your own house, and these kinds of things, reach out to me on Instagram at mycreativedays. You can always reach out to me on the email, lindsay@mycreativedays.com. Send me your questions, send me your ideas. They are so helpful in doing the content and coming up with the content for the podcast, and I really appreciate it. So until next time, I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you very soon. Hello, friends. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'm grateful that you tune in every week and that you share the show with your family and friends. I love having creative chit chats with you, and my hope is that this podcast will inspire you to try a new project, start a DIY that you've been putting off, and decorate your home exactly how you want it. There are a few ways you can help us with the podcast. Follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode. And if you could take a few minutes to leave the podcast a review, that would help us so much. Again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to our chat next week. Bye-bye.